Mormons come to the Middle East. First temple in the United Arab Emirates. Now, this is something I never expected to see reported on, but here we are. Recently, Mormons have planned to establish the very first formal temple in the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE for short. Officially known as the Church of Latter-day Saints, or LDS for short, the organization first announced this plan during a meeting in Salt Lake City, Utah in 2020. LDS President Russell M. Nelson said, quote, "The plan for a temple in Dubai comes in response to their gracious invitation, which we gratefully acknowledge." He added, "It will serve a large population wider than the UAE. Other members will want to visit Dubai because there is a temple." Discussions regarding the design of the temple have taken place with Emirati authorities. The decision to build a Mormon temple in the UAE also comes as the Gulf states commits to promoting religious diversity. There is also a plan to build an additional space in Dubai to teach more about the religion. Currently, the Mormons congregate weekly at a church in Abu Dhabi, built in 2013, which is the only Mormon church in the Middle East. Once the temple's construction is finished, it would be the first Mormon place of worship in the Middle East where followers of the religion can conduct marriages, baptism, and other religious activities. So before we dive into this, I want to make a quick distinction. So in the Mormon faith, like, the temple is a very specific kind of structure, and only certain kinds of religious activities can happen within a temple. Like, only certain sacraments, only certain rites of passages and like secret ceremonies and all this stuff can only happen in a formal temple. And so normal people cannot go into a temple, and oftentimes other Mormons cannot go into a temple unless they receive special kinds of permission, especially if they're not from their own community. If they're like traveling around, it's like a, real secret club, secret society level stuff. So that's the distinction, because they were like, wait, we're talking about this being the first temple, but you're mentioning a church, like there is an actual distinction there. But Armin, what do you think about the Mormons in the Middle East?
Wait, so are they allowed to do missionary work? Like, and they're allowed to advertise Mormonism?
So the temple is going to have an additional space that is going to have some sort of evangelical purpose, because it says it's like educational to teach more people about the religion.
Yeah. That's haram. Like, oh my God, like, this is so... I'm getting offended on behalf of Muslims. Like, you're advertising a non-Islamic faith on Islamic land, like the degrees of heresy and un-Islamicness that the UAE, sheikhs and emirs, I think they're called, are dabbing in, like, is like, I don't understand how they could pretend they're gonna get a lot of hate by conservatives for allowing stuff like this. Like, you cannot, like, the level of tolerance that you're supposed to have in an Islamic country is that you could have your church as long as it's short. Okay, it needs to be short, and you cannot have any crosses or anything religious symbols on it, right? Because that would be shirky. Mm-hmm. And the most important part is that you cannot evangelize. You cannot invite people to a religion that is not Islam on Islamic land. Okay, that is not allowed. That be shirky. Okay, like, this is the grounds for takfiring the emirs in the UAE.
Oh, like, that's snap.
Yeah. Call me a Kharijite if you want, but this is
I will.
I will call you a Madkhali if you do that. But no, I'm calling it. These people are just allowing the shirk to spread upon the land and actually promoting it. This is like, if this is not grounds for takfiring the emirs, I don't know what is. I'm calling it.
Would this count as spreading corruption?
These emirs are...
No, not quite. No.
This is outright shirky, right?
Yeah.
These emirs are out of the fold of Islam now. Okay, these emirs are not Muslim anymore. Okay, I'm calling it.
Oh my god.
You know,
Okay, so
you have my
Rashid is saying,
permission to
Armin, this
rebel
is a good
again.
thing.
I
Rashid, Armin
know.
is putting on his Muslim hat.
I am putting
Okay.
a Muslim hat on, Rashid.
Yeah,
Notice the
this is
sarcasm.
this is him expressing, how a lot of people probably feel about this situation, especially if they're very conservative. Oh my gosh, I think D brings up a very good point. This is a sacrifice for tourism, and I think
Right.
that this is speculation, but I believe this is a large part of what's happening here because the Mormons have a huge community because they have a lot of freaking babies. And they also have a lot of money. The Mormons have a lot of money. And so even in the ways in which the president of the LDS church was talking about it itself, I think really speaks to this motivation because he's saying this will serve a wide or large population, wider than the UAE, meaning like the population of Mormons there are is larger than that of Emiratis. So he's saying other members will want to visit Dubai because there is a temple. They're saying this huge Mormon population, you can
Right.
now attract them to your country.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart. These people know how to. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, I think Saudi Arabia is trying to do like the things that Qatar and UAE are doing, but somehow Saudi Arabia keeps like getting it wrong. But maybe they will. Yeah, but I know. But whatever you want to morally judge, these religions are all insane. Like, but from a strategic perspective,
No.
from a money perspective, this all makes a lot of sense what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently I would just had to look this up. What is the membership of the LDS Church? Okay. At the LDS at the end of 2021, the LDS Church reported that they had membership of over 16 million. That's like several times the actual population of Emiratis. Like, because the UAE is one of those strange situations where there are more people that are not UAE nationals living in the country than there are Emiratis, which is a very like weird dynamic. And then like the laws that are available to tourists is like very different than what's available to like actual Emirati nationals. Yeah, which seems like just a recipe for conflict, but maybe it's not. I just thought this was wild. I never would have expected this kind of thing, especially because like Mormonism is so wild. Like,
yeah,
because there's like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Okay, they each get progressively more bonkers. Okay, but there's like still a through line. So I saw a meme once and I thought it was so good. It was like comparing Judaism, Christianity, and Islam as like the first three movies of the Star Wars trilogy.
Yes.
And then the fourth book is the Book of Mormon. And they compared it to Spaceballs, which is the Star Wars parody.
Wait, I think I have.
I don't know. It's the idea of having this religion that believes that when Jesus died on the cross, he went to America before he was resurrected, like centered or having a temple in the Middle East itself. I find that very amusing.
Wait, I found it.
The meme I was talking about?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Wait, I have to put it in Paint because it wouldn't let me download it. Just here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good meme. Wait, so read it. The different religions.
Oh, this is so much better than I remembered. The desert. How do you call this? Quadrilogy? Okay. The desert quadrilogy. It shows the Torah and it says a Jew hope. The next one is the Bible and it says the empire kills Christ. And then it shows the Quran and it says return of the jihad. And then it shows the Book of Mormon and just Spaceballs.
By the way, for people who don't know, Mormons actually believe that there's a planet that God lives on in space. There's and that there's. Oh, by the way, that each one of us, if you're a Mormon, by the way, and you die, you get a planet. I get a planet.
Advanced
Everybody,
enough. If you're an advanced enough Mormon, you get to become your own god on your own planet.
On your own planet. So every one of us, like every advanced Mormon, will become a god. Yahweh himself was like a human at some point, and he advanced and he graduated and he got his own planet and he became a god and he became a creator and he makes other planets, right? So if you're good enough in this life, you will get a planet and you will become a god and you will be the only man on that planet and everybody else are females for you to sleep with.
And that's part of why you're supposed to be polygamous. I can't remember exactly what the logic is, but that whole idea about becoming your own creator god on your own planet after you die, for some reason, ties into why you have to be polygamous in this life.
Interesting.
For the fundamentalist, Mormons, which is a straight up cult. And to be honest, even mainstream Mormonism has all the hallmarks of being a full blown cult. Even the mainstream version.
Yes.
The ideology, the practice, all this stuff. It fits the bite model of a destructive cult. I just want to say that. Because
and also, when God was creating different planets, right? When Yahweh was creating different planets, this is why Mormonism is called Spaceballs, because there's involved a lot of other planets and Yahweh being on a planet. It's kind of like, it's the only religion that talks about space so much, right? But so when Yahweh was on his own planet and he was like having a meeting with, I don't know, angels but all the people at his council regarding him making planet Earth, the discussion on the meeting was whether or not they should give free will to humans that they will put on this earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus voted. Yahweh said that we should give them free will, and the devil was also there. And at that point, devil and Yahweh and Jesus were in good term with each other. But the devil voted that no, we shouldn't give them free will. And Jesus made his arguments, and the devil made his arguments. By the way, this is all in the Book of Mormon. I'm not making this up, okay? And Jesus' side wins, and the devil didn't like that, and he said like he's going to go on. I don't know. So he disagreed with this position. So what happened was God cursed. He blessed the people that voted to give humans free will. And he cursed the people who voted against giving humans free will. And there was three group of people, right? The people who voted against giving humans free will, he cursed them and he turned them into devils, and he gave them horns and they became devilish, right? The people who voted on the side with Jesus to give humans free will, he blessed them and he made their skin white. That was the blessing. And the people who didn't vote with Jesus, but didn't vote with the devil as well, so they didn't take either side, God cursed them as well. And he gave them dark skin. He made them black. Okay, so according to the Mormon book, the Book of Mormon, again, I'm not making this up, go read it. Having a black skin is a curse that has been given to you. Again, YouTube, that's not my words, that's the Book of Mormon, okay? That has been given upon black people by God for not taking Jesus' side, right? And this is why
you can find cartoons that they made of this story. And the cartoons that they used to make of this story is one of the most racist things I've ever seen.
Yeah. This is why black people were not allowed at all in Mormon churches for a very long time, up until recently. Like, if you were black, you were not allowed in a Mormon church. Yeah.
It's so wild.
Yeah. I told a black. I remember in a gym, I met a black Mormon, and he
Oh no,
was
Armin.
no. I told wait what?
What
I
did you
told
say?
him about. I just told him about these things. He was like shocked. He didn't
Oh, he
know.
didn't know?
No, he was like he could not believe what I'm saying. I had to take out my phone and show him. His mind was blown.
Oh, wow.
I think I just saved somebody from Mormonism that moment.
Oh my God.
I was so proud of myself.
Of course you were.
What did you think I'm going to say? Why were you? Why?
Okay, because I was with Jimmy Bangash recently, and he told me a story of when he tried to introduce you to one of his best friends who's a Sikh woman, and you immediately went into a conversation that was like very intense about her religious beliefs, and because you thought that she would like approved the conversation, but she didn't understand how intense you were going to go at her. So I was anticipating a story similar to that.
Okay, that's complete misrepresentation. She started that conversation. Okay, look, and then I responded. I didn't immediately start that conversation. She started that conversation. So if she was shocked based on what I was saying, she didn't expect what I'm going to say. And also, every time I stopped, she continued. So she was like, she was not quitting the conversation. Even if I wanted to quit the conversation, she's the one who kept on insisting on her position. So I don't know what they're talking about. Don't trust Jimmy when it comes to describing what actually
No, but then I talked to her. I met her and I talked to her, and she told me this too. And
She told
Ali
you what?
Malik, he was a conspirator. He said she's like, they were double teaming me. They were going at me so hard.
Yeah, but she was continuing. Like every time we finished our point,
Was a
she
good
was
sport about
bringing.
it.
Yeah, she was also she was eager about that conversation. So Jimmy is just like, he lies about what actually happened. He like exaggerates how bad things were. Don't listen to Jimmy.
I kind of
She was
believe him.
completely she was so into that conversation. So yeah.
The funniest part of me hearing this story was Jimmy describing how he was like talking to a waiter or something, and he was watching you two go after her from a distance, and he described it as just watching, being like, "Wow, they really don't understand."
Jimmy, okay, here's the thing, okay? Jimmy, okay, thinks he can control his environment. Okay? He was tired of having these conversations. Me and Ali and this lady were very interested in having this conversation. And Jimmy was bored of it. And he was frustrated that we were having this conversation. So he had to, instead of like admitting to you that he just didn't, like we were having a very engaging, fun discussion. And he just wanted us to start talking about ice cream and food instead. And none of us wanted to have his conversation, and we were all interested in having our own conversation. So instead of actually admitting about what's happening, instead of him being a boring person, instead of he just describing as us being like demonizing, attacking. He was trying to white knight the lady, like, oh, I'm coming to defend you because you're all is nonsense.
It was hilarious. I do say she still was very lovely and positive about you when I met her, and I had a lot of fun watching her, Ali Malik, and Jimmy just go head to head.
Yeah, look, Rashid was not even there, and he's deciding that Armin, she wasn't interested. You started debating and getting mad for no reason. Rashid, you weren't even there, and Susanna is like confirming that my narrative was the correct one. She had that conversation with after. Look at this, Rashida. She has zero interest. Rashid, who the hell are you? We don't even know you. You weren't there. What are you talking about?
The funniest part.
This is why I tell Rashid that you're not very smart, and he keeps pointing out like, I have good grades, I have a degree, I make money. Rashid, you're not actually very smart. You're not very smart. You make conclusions about things that you haven't even observed.
Don't
Jesus
forget, guys,
Christ.
Rashid has a master's degree. We need to respect
Oh
it.
yeah,
The funniest
Jesus.
part, I'll end it on this, was that as Jimmy was retelling this story, it reignited the argument between her and Ali.
There you
Oh
go.
my
See.
God.
Anyways, look at he mentions his degree again. Oh my God, Rashid, you're so insecure about how smart you are. Okay, you are so insecure. You must not be very smart if you constantly have to mention that. You can now get the sexiest blasphemous art ever known to mankind for free. Too sexy to show most of it here on YouTube. We draw Muhammad, Hindu goddesses, sexy hijabi art, Jesus, Mother Mary, Japanese god, Greek gods, and much, much more. Click on the link below where it says get our free blasphemous art.